What's going on, everybody? Mike McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide. Going to give you a rundown for the end of the month, basically. Today's May 31st, Tuesday, May 31st. Remember that I do the rundown Tuesday. Usually it airs up by Wednesday. So let's talk about the lake a little bit. It's been very interesting. Remember, we talked in April a lot about a lot of the wind that never ever ended. 3 times the oblivious amount of wind as we average. We average 3 to 5 days with 15 to 25 mile an hour winds and excess of 30 mile an hour gusts. We had 14 days in April with 20 to 30 mile an hour winds and 60 mile an hour gusts. And here we are bumping really the end of May. I'm flashing back to April because May pretty much brought a lot of the same thing. It's May 31st. Yesterday I quit at noon because we were taking a beating. And I mean, I run a Skeeter and it's a dry boat. It's a Skeeter 2022 model, brand new model. It's the FXR 21 footer, 250 horse Yamaha on it, plenty of power. But when you take those kinds of waves sideways, all right, if you're going into them, it's not so bad. You're going with them, it's fine. When you take them sideways, you're turning in buoy lanes and following the boat lanes, good God, do you take a beating. I mean, just a beating. My kidneys are killing me. My liver's killing me. I'm sick and tired. And as many of us out there on that lake, there are so few boats out there right now because of those high winds. It's blowing my mind. Memorial weekend, high winds, nobody on the lake. Brutal, brutal winds. But look, the lake is in good shape. We're pretty stable, 397.35. It's about a little over 5.5 feet low. Yes, it's dangerous. If you're scared of it, you shouldn't be. Actually, if you just travel the buoys, stay in the buoys, and idle everything else, it's easy. You'll be just fine. Go to Lake Fork Marina, go to Axton's, get you, or even Fisherman's One Stop, get you the Lake Fork Super Trails. Makes it real simple. You can run the buoys, okay? Run the buoys, and then when you idle all our trails. There's trails from one end of the lake. They're safe. You won't bump. It'll get you in, get you out quickly, expeditiously, and that way you can go fish. Don't be afraid of the lake. But the clarity, 0 to 1, because of all the winds. If you go south, man, you're going to say Mike was wrong. There's some 2, maybe even 3 foot visibility. But a majority of the lake, especially up on the north end midsection, is about 0 to 1 foot of visibility. Temperatures, because of the winds, once again, they're being suppressed. We had that cold front. It wasn't a cold front, but we had a cold front and a cold week that took about 10 degrees out last week. It's trying to come back, but those winds keep churning that lake. And that blends the top with the bottom. It pushes one end one way and the bottom the other way. So right now this morning was 76.3, and that was all the way down the basin by the dam. When I pulled off the lake at Lake Fork Marina, it was 80. That's a good temperature. We're in a new moon cycle as of right now, and really, I'm gonna be honest with you, fishing is not as good as it should be. And I think mostly it's because of the wind. There is some good fishing. It is still okay. It's been tougher. The cold front and Florida strain bass don't get along. So it's been a little bit tougher than normal. But listen, the weather's come back around and it's blowing from the south again. When it blows from the north, cold front oriented, these fish shut down. And now it's back from the south. Basically the past couple days, catching the fish still deep, catching them on jigs, catching them on worms, catching them on Carolina rigs. There is a topwater bite. It's short and sweet in the morning. You got to be on the right place. You have to be in the right place. But you're only going to get about 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Once that sun's up, it's over. And if you're in high wind areas, you're not going to have that topwater bite. But let's talk about basically the weather. Tomorrow, 71 degree low, 90 degree high. South-southeast winds. They're going to lay down a little bit tomorrow. If you're coming out tomorrow, it's going to be a pretty nice day on Fork. 20% chance of rain, that means nothing. Thursday now, however, it looks like we have some possibility of some thunderstorms. 65% chance of thunderstorm. Here comes that north wind again. North 5 to 10 mile an hour. It's not strong winds. Little cool trend, 65 and 81. Weird for June. I can tell you, I think I told you in the last rundown, we had our first cold front move through about mid-November last year of 2021. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. We are in our 7th month and we're still having at least an occasional turnaround of north winds and cold front come through. They're not heavy anymore. They're not major. It's just odd. It is Texas, and that's what happens in Texas weather. If you don't like the weather in Texas, stick around. It's going to change. So Wednesday, good. Thursday, watch out if you're coming out Thursday. Friday again, 40% chance in the morning. Looks like it clears out. East, northeast winds, 5 to 10 mile an hour. Temperatures kind of low again, a little chilly in the morning, 67, 83 high. Those are comfortable temperatures actually, especially midday, afternoon. And then Saturday, 71, 87, back to southeast winds. You realize that in 4 days, we go south, southeast, north, east, and then southeast again. That makes all the change on these poor fish. They get set up for the south wind bite, and then something changes, and they got to reposition. And then they got to reposition. They got to reposition. So the fishing is very erratic right now. You've got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to use those winds, switch sides of the lake when it does change, and realize that it's not going to happen in just a matter of a few minutes. So just because the winds switch directions and in an hour or two think you're going to go find fish set up on the new blown stuff. Usually it takes a little bit of time for them to stage and start using that direction of wind. A lot of times when we get a big blow, we have so much current going one way, it pushes all that water up, say, south. It's blowing south, pushes it all the way up in the north end, and then it switches. And man, that's all going to settle back. And literally, by elevation, there can be more water up in the north end of the lake than there is in the south end of the lake. It can be lower and higher. It literally can. Now, it's not a very unmeasurable, very small, unmeasurable amount, but that changes everything on the fish. So just understand that. The afternoon is really the best bite. If you are grinding in the morning, maybe go in and just take it easy. Maybe sleep in a little bit. If you come on a vacation, sleep in a little bit and fish till dark. Because I can tell you, after 3 o'clock, it changes. You want to be fishing the roads. You want to be fishing structure. You want to be fishing tree lines, humps, ridges, breaks, channel swings, even ditches and drains. If you get in the ditches and drains, but deeper, I'm telling you, and 12 to 22 feet of water is where you want to be. Colors like purples, brim colors, always good on Lake Fork. Cincos are always good on Lake Fork, and anything green pumpkin candy. But those are some good tips there for you, for the public. Really should be able to help you out, okay? I don't have a lot more to give the public right now at this time. Fishing's fixing to change when we really heat up. We got the Skeeter event coming here in just a couple weeks. And usually by the time the Skeeter event gets here, it's really good fishing. We catch quite a few overs in that Skeeter event, but they are offshore, and the bass start to suspend in the offshore trees, things like that. So your Texas rig worms work really good, and believe it or not, even the Carolina rig done right in the trees can catch those fish with like a fluke or a mag fluke or an impact shad. But listen, if you really want to know exactly what I'm doing as a guide service, what we did today, for example, we caught some fish today. We caught them pretty good. Brooke's out there right now. She stayed because the bite kicked on about 3:30, and she's hammered them. She's absolutely hammered them. She had 5 in a row, and they kept bigger, bigger, and bigger. Now, I'm fixing right now to do a members only when I finish this public. In this members only, I'm going to do several things. Number one, I'm going to tell you the exact baits that I'm throwing. Not very specific, not unspecific like here. And I really want to draw you to it. It's $4.99 to become a member. It's worth it. I run into so many people shaking my hand now, so many people telling me that it's worth it, so many people catching fish consistently. Lake Fork's a tough beast. And I'm telling you the truth when I give you the members only rundown. I give you the baits that we're using, the colors that we're using, the depths that we're using, and by the rule of 3, I tell you what part of the lake is best to be fishing in. Okay? So this is your personal invite. As always, come be a member. Try it once. Subscribe to the members only once. $4.99. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. It's no loss, no gain. I guarantee you, you lose crankbaits, jigs, worms, more of that on the lake. And you try those all the time. So that's a perfect little thing, perfect sales pitch to you. You go out and try a lure on Lake Fork and lose it. Why not try the members only? Okay? Please, I promise you, you won't regret it. All right? That's it, guys. Remember to be nice out on the water. Remember to be safe on the water. I went to Arizona over the weekend to see my father, and he looked really good. He looked a lot better than I expected for 96 years old. He talked about fishing. He remembered things when I was a kid. His memory is sharp. His body is shot. Old, frail man, ready to go home, but fighting and refusing to do so with the brain. So I ask that you pray for my father, the colonel. He's been a really good dad to me. I doubt you can see this picture, but in this picture is me, about 5 years old, looking up at my father. as on a backpack trip in the Black River, Smallmouth River. And I brought that to show him, and I asked him if he remembered it. There's a fish hanging on the stringer there, and he remembered that exact fish and what hole we caught it from. Amazing, amazing. What an awesome man. He served 3 wars, retired as a full colonel. He's an awesome father. Lift him up in your prayers. And then, of course, Memorial Weekend, give him a little bit of kudos for serving the way he did. But anyways, man, that's the rundown. Getting ready to go do the members. I hope you all have a great week. I'll be back Thursday and do another rundown, which you'll see Friday. Wish y'all great fishing. Be nice to your neighbor. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide.